Welcome to SilverC Review. Sorry I can't do any cool stuff. And to be honest, I might be re-recording this one because of the sound. We'll see how it goes. I know it's kind of bright out there and I'm kind of dark. That's about the best I can do. Maybe if I did it in the morning I could do this setting, but the sun always sets on the other side, so I thought this was kind of cool. So it's just an experiment. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, I'll re-record it somewhere else. Anyways, we're going to start off with informing you about my life. I've got a storm coming, and it's probably the biggest storm of my life, so I'm going to do my best to get the videos posted around the same time and to get the videos recorded, but it's possible that I'll be forced into maybe skipping a week or two and get them up later or something like that. Same with the daily pictures. I'm going to try really hard to always upload one, but it's possible that I might miss a day or two. But currently I like to record these on the during the week and then edit them during the weekend. And it takes my video editor roughly about 7 hours to render the video. And I know it's because I do it in really high quality, but it's a long time. I usually have to let it go overnight. And a lot of times I'll get stuck that way. I'm like, alright, I'm ready to edit my video, and it takes so long to render it that I can't get it posted, so I have to do it the next day. I have a feeling the sound is just going to be really bad. It's like, once my voice hits a certain level, it kind of picks like a tone and just like stays there. I'm going to try to talk a little bit quieter. Hopefully the water's not too loud. This may not work after all. Oh well. I'm kind of wondering why people hate the movie The Happening so much. It gets brought up all the time and people just hate it. And I did some research online and people said the storyline was kind of crappy and the acting and the pacing. But I really like the movie. I've seen it like 5 times and I don't know. I like the idea behind it, and I guess that might be something else. People are like, oh, it's all about being nice to Mother Nature and stuff. No, it's a sci-fi movie. I guess you can take it that way, but I just see it as a sci-fi movie. It's an interesting concept, but people really seem to hate that movie. It's right up there with like the Emoji Movie. I watched Den of Thieves, and given that one a 5 out of 10. Oh, I forgot. Well, I'll finish this. It had a really good gunfight at the end, and it was decently entertaining throughout the whole movie. It didn't make it in my collection, but it was alright. Originally, when I decided to come here, the water wasn't this high. Like I could actually step outside the pipe down there a little ways. So I was planning on getting up on top of it and like swinging down in and being like, hello, and then coming on in. And I walked in today and I was like, oh hey. And another place I wanted to do was like kind of like a waterfall, like a tiered step thing. And there's like barely any water flowing, so I don't know why this water is so high and there's barely any water over there. Just doesn't make sense. Maybe they're probably like releasing water in certain areas, but okay, back on track. Pitch Perfect 3, and that one a 4 out of 10. I am getting really tired of we're only going to pick one person out of our group type of thing. The water's actually kind of lazy a little bit. Anyways, I'm tired of the theme and it seems to be happening a lot, so I didn't really care for that, but I like the Pitch Perfect movies. They're not in my collection, but it was okay. Peter Rabbit, and that one a 4 out of 10. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I watched the trailer and it looked like it was trying to be overly stupid to be comedic, but it was actually pretty well thought out, like the ways they were fighting and stuff, so it wasn't too goofy, but not too bad, worth a watch. Bleach, the movie number 2, Diamond Dust Rebellion, I'm giving that one a 7 out of 10. I know I normally rate anime movies pretty high, but it had a good theme about opening up to people and letting others help you and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of movies I watch are like action movies and stuff, so I guess that's why I rate anime higher, because I like the themes in it. But the other last movie I'm going to talk about that I'm not actually reviewing is Naruto Shippuden, the movie. This is the first movie, and I give that one a 6 out of 10. It had a really, really good quote that I ended up adding to my list of quotes. It said, if you don't like the hand fate has dealt, you fight for a better one. And I really like that. Like, you can't control how you were raised, or can't always control what goes on in your life, but you can always fight. And like I said from day one, just never stop fighting, right? Just keep going and never give up. That's got to be the most powerful thing you can do, is never give up. And that's what you see in all sorts of movies. That's who we root for, is the people that never give up. So we're going to go on to Annihilation. And I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10. Like I said in the last video, I wasn't planning on doing this one this early, but they released it on Netflix and other places besides the United States, so I was able to watch it in good high definition. So there will be spoilers, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. I will not be holding anything back. Not like I have a ton of answers from this movie anyway, because they don't like to answer stuff. So let's go into it. Thanks to the trailers, I kind of had an idea of what was going on, but if I hadn't watched the trailer, I feel like the beginning would be really, really confusing. Like, when they're just interviewing her, like, there'd be no way to figure out what was going on. And I mean, I guess you kind of clue in later, but it would be quite a while later before you actually clue in what was going on, so that was kind of weird. Even with me watching the trailer, I kind of felt like this was going to be a pretty confusing movie, and it was a pretty confusing movie. Not so much because it was over my head, just because they didn't explain anything. The lady that was interrogating the wife was like the most boring voice and face on a person I've ever seen. And I thought at first it was just because she was interrogating her, but no, it was throughout the entire movie. Like, I don't know if that's just how that person is, or if that's how she acts, or what, but it was pretty terrible. Like, every time she was on the screen, I was like, ugh. I really like how they named it the Shimmer. I mean, it's just, I don't know, for some reason that's an awesome name. It was really creepy how their memory was wiped, and they didn't know how it happened or anything. And then they just don't use it the rest of the movie. Like, they lost, I can't remember what they said, like 5 or 7 days or something like that when they first entered the Shimmer. And then just, it never happens again. So, and they never talk about it, they never explain why it happened, nothing. Just, it didn't make sense at all. I can understand why the predators look so scary, but all the other things weren't all that scary, which I say other things. There really weren't that many animals in the movie, especially considering the area they were in. I think we saw like 3 animals. I mean, we had the alligator-looking thing, the bear, and the deer. That was it, right? Was there other animals that I forgot about? So, I mean, you'd think you'd see animals everywhere, and I thought from the trailer I'd be seeing animals everywhere. I thought, it's got all these cool-looking animals. But it was weird how the deer were all pretty looking and the predators were all scary looking and had been combined with other predators. So, it was weird how she mentioned not only was it duplicating everything, but it was also making human duplicates so early, and we didn't see it until like towards the end of the movie. Like, it's like, well, she's just talking about it, and it's nowhere near where they were. It was kind of weird. Like, maybe they just didn't want to, they couldn't find a way to bring up the human duplicates later, but I was like, well, now I know there's going to be other humans in there. Actually, I thought it was going to be the plant people that we saw. I thought maybe those were going to be the human duplicates. It was like I was waiting the entire time for human duplicates to appear because she had just said it, so I didn't care for that. The worms in the stomach, and also as they were like cutting that guy open, that was very disgusting and creepy, so good job on that. I also wasn't a fan of her husband. again, I don't know if it's just the way he is or his acting or what, but for whatever reason he seemed very... It seemed like he was overacting or something like that. Like, I don't know what they told him or how they told him to act, but he was real slow to respond to things, and like even in the videos when he was like supposed to be a normal guy, he still had a real slow personality, I guess, for being some sort of military agent person. I skipped ahead. Oh, if her cells were dividing so quickly that she could see it under a microscope as soon as she put it underneath there, I feel like they wouldn't have their human forms anymore. Like, unless their cells were dividing and just immediately being absorbed into everything that's surrounding them, like, that was just really weird. I felt like they'd be constantly growing little bubbles and stuff on them. So, and it happened every time. They'd look under the microscope and it would just instantly divide. So, I mean, I feel like that could have been an easy fix. Just be like, we're not seeing anything happen, and come back later and it's been a division. We don't have to actually see it happening. It talked about how it was refracting light and stuff, but it seemed like there were clouds in there. Like, we definitely saw clouds, and I'm pretty sure they were within the shimmer, so that was really weird. Like, it didn't talk about the atmosphere in there at all. We were just to assume, and you could see the sun, but during the nighttime shot, it was super dark. Like, I mean, maybe there was a chance that there was just no moon out, but it was almost like there were no moon and stars whatsoever. It was just pitch black. But in the daytime, it was always nice and bright, and you could see clouds, so that was kind of weird. Again, stuff they didn't explain. I hated how that one lady that talked about, what did she say? She didn't want to become part of like an animal that was eating her or something, because the bear had that lady's voice. So she had like become part of it, and she just wanted to, I guess, become a plant, and she just walks around the corner and magically, but even then, there's a bunch of those plant-looking people things, but they could have been there all along. Like, it wasn't like she turned into one, and there wasn't like one that was standing out, and it was an instant thing. I know she had like scars on her arms, I think, that were starting to become plants, and like I noticed that, but her to just like disappear like that, did she turn into all of those, or did she just turn into one of those, or didn't like that at all. As you know, I'm not a big fan when they don't explain anything. We're just supposed to kind of roll with it. Maybe if it was really cool, like if they showed the process of her turning into a plant, like they want to show the process of the cells dividing, but they don't want to show the process of her turning into a plant. They had to say the name of the movie. I mean, unless you just can't avoid it. I kind of hate when you say the name of the movie in the movie. She's like, whatever her little spiel was, Annihilation. It's like, reminds me of that, I think it was on Family Guy, when it shows like a montage of him sitting in the theater, and every time they say the name of the movie, he'll do something like, yeah! I'm not happy with it either. I keep thinking my feet are gonna get wet. I'd rather that they not get wet since I still have my dressy shoes on. Which, if you haven't noticed, I'm only ever gonna have either jeans or dress pants on. I don't have any other sort of pants. And if I come right from work, I'll have dress pants on. The clone interaction thing was really long and really weird. Like, we had no clue what was going on. It wasn't perfectly copying her. Like, it was sort of copying her movements, but not perfectly. It was weird how it would like it was pushing her into the door, and it like attacked her, and then she like handed it the bomb, and it held on to it, and I don't know, like it took a long time, and like they didn't revisit it or anything like that. We don't know why. Like, did it know what the bomb was? Was it acting in her defense? I don't know. It was just a really weird scene that went on for way too long, like I felt, and I didn't like the ending either. I mean, they did something weird with their eyes. So does that mean that they're both clones? Like, we're pretty sure that he is his duplicate version, but unless... I'm pretty sure the camera was on her the entire time, so there's no way that she's the duplicate. Plus, even if she was the duplicate, that means that the original is the one, because once it gets the bomb, after it's turned into her and then it gets the bomb, it turns back into its little form. So, unless being in there made her be able to turn into that form, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't see how in the world she could be the duplicate, and they could both be out. And what are we doing from here? Like, is there going to be a second movie? Is that why they tried to leave it open-ended? I mean, they didn't revisit anything, so I hated the end of that. I take it back. I said I didn't like it. I hated it. It was stupid. Nothing in the movie was explained. I think I read online somewhere that they originally had some sort of higher meaning at the ending, or higher ending, I mean, that had some meaning behind it, and they had to scrap it and use the one they did use, so people would understand it and like the movie a little bit more. But if it explained anything, I would have much rather seen that ending, and I probably should have looked it up to see if I could find it, but I didn't like this one because just nothing was explained. And also there were like all those, was it bones or rocks or something that were stacked outside the lighthouse, and like the crystal trees, and there's just so much going on in this movie. And besides the plant people, I don't think anything was explained. And even then, how it talked about they got their form because they had something in the human gene or something. I meant to look it up and I didn't write it down, and then I couldn't find it. I tried to Google it and I couldn't find it. I needed the exact words she called it, so I don't know if that was even legit, but that was like one of the few things that was actually explained in the movie. And that's weird. I put how could she be the duplicate on the bottom instead of, I guess I just already did them. So anyways, that was it, I guess. That was all for Annihilation. I had much higher expectations going into the movie, so I guess this is why they sold it to the Netflix outside the US and then showed it in theaters within the US, because they didn't think they were going to make much money because it wasn't that great. So anyways, we're going to go on to my recommendation. This is going to be Dreamcatcher from 2003. The description says, 4 young friends who perform a heroic act and are changed forever with uncanny powers. Years later, the friends, now men, are on a hunting trip in Maine when they are overtaken by a blizzard in which something much more ominous moves. I need to spell check this stuff. I typed it up in a hurry and I made some errors, so it made it hard to read. So anyways, essentially I think it starts out when they're on their hunting trip, and even then they don't really do much hunting. They're just kind of in that cabin out in the woods. And this is an alien movie. Just get that ahead so you know what the ominous thing is. It's not any big surprise. And but anyways, weird stuff starts happening. It does flashbacks to their childhood where they do help this guy. And their powers that it talks about aren't flashy powers or anything special. Like they are things that normal humans can't do, but they're only useful in this one situation. Like, they help just the right person, and he makes them useful for this one situation, and that's it. So, the military are also trying to fight off the aliens, and the military don't care who else gets hurt or anything like that. Like, they don't care about the bystanders, so they're having to go against the military and against the aliens, and it's a long process before they even realize what's going on. So it's if you've ever seen the movie The Thing, it was recently remade. That's kind of the same theme to the movie. Like, it's this creature that they're having to fight. But it's a really good movie. I've seen it several times. Of course, it's in my collection. I don't know why, but I can just watch this movie over and over again, just like The Happening. I think I said everything without... the storyline probably isn't top-notch, and the aliens aren't the best ever, but the acting seemed alright. It has plenty of creepiness and action and suspense, and it centers around the friendship of these kids and the nice act they did. So all around, I really think it's a good movie. That's going to be it for the recommendation. I'm going to go on to jokes. Why don't blind people go skydiving? Because it would scare their dogs too much. If you try to eat a clock, it's very time consuming. Alright, I think I got this part figured out. And I remember to put my hand down. I think the last video was the first time I've ever not remembered since doing that to put my hand out. Quotes. I'm going to have several quotes because I need to hear them as much as anyone else out there. So the first one is, remember how far you've come, not just how far you have to go. You may not be where you were at, but neither are where you used to be. And this is more about focus on what's positive and not what's been negative in your life. Like you may still have a long ways to go, but you've made progress. And another quote that I don't have on here, I'll kind of summarize it, is you don't have to reach the end of the road to benefit from traveling. And I mean, that's kind of like, I do a lot of hiking, and it's not always the destination that's the best part, it's the journey. And crap, I think that may have been a quote too. But anyways, that's the theme of it, is like you still can keep going, but that doesn't mean you can't be happy along the way. Next quote, never push a loyal person to the point where they no longer care. Everyone has limits, and even the nicest people have limits. So if you keep pushing them and keep ignoring it, then... Sorry, I saw a person walk by, and they're pretty far from me, but with the echo, I don't know if they can actually hear me. Anyways, if you keep pushing them, then they will eventually strike back, and it will not be fun. Another quote is, even the nicest people have their limits, don't try to reach them. Demons run when a good person goes to war. And usually a good person, they tolerate so much that when they reach the limit, all hell breaks loose. Like they prepare, they know what they're doing, they're still calm, and it's just not a good thing to do. I don't know, I can't elaborate on it anymore. And the last quote is going to be, courage doesn't mean don't get scared. Courage means you don't let the fear stop you. And everyone's scared going through life. It's definitely not an easy thing to do, just going through life, but just don't let it stop you from doing what you want to do. And like even daredevils and stuff, they still have fears, but they just don't let it stop them. And no one is above their fears or their demons or anything like that. You just learn to get around them and to get past them for this time being and to live with them. But so don't ever look at somebody who's like, man, I wish I was like that, and just never scared of anything. They're still scared. They just keep going regardless, and that's what you have to do. So anyways, that's going to be it. I don't know what the next movie is going to be. Maybe Game Night. There was a couple others, so I don't know. There's not any real... I try to do like what I think will be the most popular movies, and also good movies, and there's not a whole lot. Annihilation popped up. I didn't know even what to do for this one. So, I don't know. It'll be a surprise. But you can find my pictures. I do a daily picture on Flickr, on Twitter, and Pinterest. Flickr is SilverC_review. Of course, I take all the pictures that I post on there. And I think on Twitter I'm going to try to put like a little something about the picture, like try to do like a motivational thing that relates to the picture that's probably going to be like a pun kind of as well. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, my links to my YouTube if you're listening to this, or also my links to my Twitter and Facebook, and my podcast if you're watching this, is going to be listed in the description, so check it out. I wonder how the lighting is now. It's probably changed a little bit, but anyways, that's going to be all for today. Take care.